Hello, I'm Brett Knowles. I was one of the panel members at the recent panel discussion on the use of gamification in managing organizations that took place in Manchester in the United Kingdom, and I want to provide you with a brief summary of that panel session and what we think we learned. So the panel members were Roger Longden, who was the panel facilitator and MD of There Be Giants. On the panel was Paul Barnes, from the MD from My Accountancy Place, Ryan Shireen from rentalcars.com, myself from PM Squared as a North American with experience in gamification of businesses in North America, Sandy Lindsay, MBE from the Tangerine Group, and Richard Wood from Six and Flow. The idea of gamification in management was introduced to the panel and the audience by Roger. He talked about the key aspects, which is the application of game mechanics to the work that we do in our jobs. So if you think of any game, whether it's an online game, a football game, or a game of chess, there are certain things that make that game attractive and interesting, and in some cases even addictive. And the idea is, as you apply it to business, would be effectively some clear rules. And obviously we want to set it up so that if you were to earn points, you'd earn more points for making better progress on activities which are more strategically important. So what would that look like? Well, let's say your strategy for your organization is around acquiring new customers. Well, your employees should earn more points for all activities that link to acquiring new customers, and fewer points for activities that link to, say, product development, getting better share of wallet from existing customers, etc. So in this way, we can begin to align employees towards the things which are strategically important. So on the employee side, this allows them to understand their purpose at work, because clearly for their job, whatever they earn the most points for has to be around their purpose. They can then monitor their progress and therefore master the skills necessary to get better and see their progress over time. With this understanding of purpose, mastery, and seeing their progress, they can obviously make choices in their jobs. They can operate with autonomy to achieve the highest points possible. So what are some of the key points we talked about? Well, in no particular order, we discovered that systems like these are already in use in the UK. Richard provided some examples that were 20 years old. These aren't new concepts, but we're now better able to enable them through cloud-based technologies and new emerging management concepts like OKRs, objectives and key results. There was some debate about whether these were more appealing to millennials, who have a different mindset perhaps than the older generations, but we came to the conclusion that all of us liked the aspects of games and what they brought to the table. But we did reveal the fact that culture becomes an important element in its success, and we need to monitor our organization's culture in order to make sure that we're getting the maximum use out of the game. We could even include suppliers and customers in the game. So if, for example, with my accountancy, we're dependent on our customers to complete some filings or return us information, the customer could gain points as they are more speedy in their recovery and maybe go on a customer leaderboard, earn badges, those sorts of things. And we realized that this was an interesting replacement of the annual planning cycle. The agreement was no organizations in the room could see out a year, and it didn't make much sense to do annual plans. The idea of having quarterly games and refreshing where we earn our most points every quarter or every month seemed to match the pace of business much better. There was some concern about the culture, and it was explained to me as, well, we are British, and within that was the idea that Perhaps some were naturally skeptical of things like gamification, and more important, that we couldn't even take compliments. So as people earn badges, would that in fact be destructive? Other key points we touched on is that we understood that there were some parts of the organization where things like leaderboards and badges will thrive. And in our experience, those are areas like sales areas. Whereas other areas like marketing or customer support, they don't want leaderboards, they don't want badges, they want to work towards collaboration, and in those environments you earn more points for having the right cross-functional team. Now, there does seem to be value in applying gamifications to certain critical processes where our behavior needs to be influenced to improve performance. We talked a little bit about Daniel Pink's book Drive, in which he cites research where the proverbial pay for performance was proven to work well in menial repetitive tasks, but failed when any cognitive skill set or problem solving was required. And that's where we need to move up to these higher intrinsic motivators like purpose, mastery, autonomy, progress, and socialization. We also recognize there's a difference between gaming and playful management. And so there's a conversation about playful management and having fun at work, which is distinctly different from the gamification concepts. So this is a brief summary of what we touched on. I hope this was useful to you. Certainly, I want to thank the other members of the panel and Roger for putting this on. It was an interesting opportunity to explore how something that's gaining traction in North America is coming to the United Kingdom.